welcome back to Build with the Boys, coming to you from Glasgow. It's time for our weekly catch-up. I'm not going to let not being at home stop me from doing the catch-up, because I'm falling that behind with everything else. I can't fall behind with this too. So forgive the blinding light, you know what, we'll sort that out. That's better. Now, I'm ill prepared, so I've even had to fashion a tripod out of the condiment holder and a book. But I don't care. It's Wednesday. It's our weekly catch-up, is what we do. There is a lot of news that's happened over a very short period of time, so we're going to have to catch up with everything that's been going on. So as of yesterday, I believe, the U-boat is now live. So if you want the U-boat, you can fly over to Hachette, you can sign up to that, and you can start the U-boat build, and parts will be dispatched fairly soon. It is a massive build. That's something you have to be aware of. So if you're building Titanic, make sure you've got room for another 4.5 foot model, because that's exactly what this is going to be. It is gargantuan. I'm not doing it. I've had a few people ask me, are you doing the U-boat? No, I'm not doing the U-boat at all. It's not my thing. It's not for me. I'm not big on war machines, if I'm honest, but it's not for me. Now, I am doing the Lancaster, which yes is a war machine, but it's always had a soft spot in my heart. There's some very pop culture about the Lancaster I've always liked, same as the Spitfire. But no, I mean, sort of random. I had no interest in the Bismarck. I mean, it was a gorgeous model, but I had no interest in it personally. And if I'm not interested in it, I can't devote 2 years to it. And I certainly can't devote 2 years to a U-boat. Couple that with the fact that my grandfather served in the Navy during World War II, and he would be rotating at high speed in his grave if he could see me building a U-boat. So yeah, there's that as well. There are new models. So new models have been launched in France. So the first one we need to talk about is the Nissan Skyline from Fast and Furious. I don't know Fast and Furious. This isn't one I'm building, but this is a very nice model. Now, this has already had its run in Japan, and now it's launched in France. But if you want to see the Nissan, it's this one. The Nissan. Now, it is beautiful. I mean, I can't take that away from it at all. And me and Jackie, we did build a few parts of the Dodge Charger. Again, it was a beautiful model. It really was. But Fast and Furious just isn't our thing. It's certainly not my thing. So I can't. It's not one I'm going to go for. But it is beautiful. I mean, it's got an underlighter to it, and you can see from those pictures, it's got a lot going on, and it's a really nice model. As we've spoken about before, we are in trial season at the moment, so a lot of these trials are happening now. I don't know if that's actually launched in France. There's no trial that's launched. So I would imagine it's going to come over here. I can't see it not coming over here. When? I don't know. It could be really soon. It could be really soon. I mean, it could be as soon as a few months from now, or it could be a year from now. Typically, we're about 12 months behind France when it comes to builds, but I don't know. This one, I've got a feeling that it might be a lot. It might be a lot sooner. Don't know. Can't confirm that. One that has gone on trial, and this has split people because a few people have messaged me about it, and I've got two camps quite clearly on this one. People are like, I'm all over that, and people are like, what is the point of this? Is another Ironman, and it's this one. So if you're not up on your which suit is which, well, that's pretty much the last suit that Iron Man ever wore, that Tony Stark ever wore. That's the Mark 85, and it's the one from Endgame. So the differences between that one and the one that we've built before is that it has got the kind of the space jetpack on the back of it. It will also come with the nano gauntlet. So we've got pictures of the nano gauntlet. The nano gauntlet will light up the stone, so which is quite nice. And this here. I believe, even though my French is sketchy as hell, that nano gauntlet is detachable, so you can have an ordinary hand or you can have the nano gauntlet. I don't know why you wouldn't have the nano gauntlet, but I believe you can switch the one hand out and put the other hand on. I would imagine this is going to follow pretty much an identical pattern to the original Iron Man build. That said, um, I don't know if they're going to put all the poses in there because there is theoretically more to build with the backpack, but I think they've just replaced the folding wings that we had before. I don't know. I would imagine they'll do battle damage. I don't know. But what battle damage? Because I believe that suit was immaculate until Thanos handed his ass to him, and then you need to remove the helmet and everything else. You need to have kind of the stab wound and things like that in there. I don't know. But it is a trial at this point. How successful that trial is going to be, I couldn't tell you, because as I said, it has split, everyone I've spoken to has split them 50-50. Most people that I know that built the Ironman are not going to touch that because they're like, well, I've got one. If you haven't built an Ironman and there was a choice of that one or the other one, well, then I'd pick that one every time. I think I'd go for the Mark 85. I mean, the Mark 3 that we made is lovely because it is kind of the early days of Ironman. It's Ironman 1. The 85, I mean, it's iconic. It's, I don't know. I wouldn't build them. I mean, if you want a menagerie of these things, and if they're going to do War Machine, which they did tease a while back, it was a potential. So War Machine was one of the potential ones they were looking at, as was Iron Patriot, which is the red, white, and blue suit. Maybe, but I'm not touching it. I didn't enjoy building Iron Man. I love the model, don't get me wrong. I love my Iron Man. I think it's stunning. And when it all came together at the end, it was worth it. But the time spent building it wasn't enjoyable. It was hard for me to get enthusiastic about it. And with each pack that came, I got a little bit more disheartened and a little bit more disheartened until the very end when we put it all together. The difference being is I'd know what to expect this time round. So I think I'd probably enjoy it the second time round because I know what to expect. And then they have built the head in France as part of the trial. So the difference between the original head that we built and this head is a button. So instead of having the twist button on the side, there is a button that is pressed and it turns on instead, which is going to be a lot easier than messing around twisting that button. I don't know if they've made the whole thing light up this time, pressing one button. That was a major complaint of the original Iron Man. You have to light each individual hand, each individual foot, the chest and the head are all working off different battery packs. If they've changed anything, I sincerely hope it's that everything's powered together, but I don't think it is. It might be, but I don't know. I believe Optimus Prime is, and I think from the Optimus Prime, we'll come to him in a minute, has got a piece in his neck that I believe when you're going to screw other parts in, I think that power at the top will power other bits. Hopefully they do that with this one. They've learned from the complaint that everyone made the last time that we should have one button, bang, and it all turns on. I don't think that's going to be the case because there's only 3 buttons gone into the head, which would suggest that there's not going to be enough to power the rest of the suit. I don't know. Whether or not that even goes to a full run, I don't know, because as I said, it is incredibly polarized, and there are people that love the fact there's another one, and there are people that are like, no way would I touch that, I've already built one. So it may never see the light of day, it may just be a trial, I don't know, but if we find out any more, we will tell you. Another one that this has gone around before, but all of a sudden this has started springing up, so I don't know if they're trying this again. I don't know, but this is another one I saw rear its head again. Now I saw this, I want to say 2 years ago. If it wasn't, it was last year. But it's come back around. I've seen people start talking about it again. It's reappeared. So I believe this is being trialled in France. And it's the Land Rover, and it's this one here. Not one I touch. I mean, it is an iconic vehicle. I can remember when I was growing up, seeing so many of those. My next door neighbour owned one of those. Everybody owned one of those. And it is an iconic thing. I mean, now Land Rovers and Range Rovers are very different to what they used to be, but that's you heard Land Rover, that's what I thought of. That's, if you're of Generation X, you hear the word Land Rover, that is what pops into your mind. But I don't know with that one. When I've got more information about it, I'll let you know. But that one, I've seen it before, but it appears to have reared its head again. Don't know why, but it appears to have. But as I said, we are very much in trial season. So we've got, I mean, Christ, that's 3 for you immediately. And then you've got the trial of the Interceptor, the Mad Max Interceptor. I've not seen any parts of those appear anywhere yet, but that's what's happening. We had the ET trial. We've not seen that become a full build or not. There's been so many of recent, and it's like, wow, this is This is a lot, so they're kind of all over the place. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to make it, what isn't going to make it. I'd like to think they're not going to launch all of these because well, how? I mean, it's. I think there's a risk of the market being flooded if there's too many of these things on the go at once. I mean, we all have budgets. You can't do them all, so I hope caution is being used here. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? We did build the first parts of the fan home Optimus Prime, and I really like it. If I had it here, I'd show it you, but I don't. So we built the first parts of the fan home Optimus Prime that was very kindly sent to us by a friend of the channel, and I really like it. I really like it. And this brings me to 2 points. One of them was everyone seems to be moving away from the newsagent model. So with the U-boat, you can't get the U-boat in newsagents or supermarkets or the normal channels. It's a subscription only model. Now it is only 4 parts. They've not gone the Batman route where it's 6 parts. It's 4 parts a month. But it's subscription only. You can't get it in stores. Which is strange because when they trialled it, it was trialled in stores. But they've gone the route of the Alien with this one where it's subscription only. I don't know why, but that's what they've chosen to do. Now, Fan Home have gone that way as well. At one point, I think the last one Fan Home did that you could buy in stores was the Charger, the Dodge Charger, I think is it. There was, for the longest time, there was a rumour that Ironman was going to be launched in newsagents after its initial run, but it seems like they've gone cold on that. The reason why I bring this up is because I had no real interest in doing Optimus Prime because I like Transformers, but I don't love it enough for me to commit blindly to a model. However, having built those first parts, I'm like, this is nice, this is quality. I'd actually quite like an Optimus Prime now, which begs the question, maybe you should be launching these things through newsagents again, because if we can get our mitts on them and we can see it for ourselves with a trial part, that's the whole point of a trial part. You look and go, I like this. And I think I would have been sold. I genuinely do. I think had that have come along in the newsagents first, I think I probably would have signed up straight away. I think I probably would have seen that and gone, I really like this, and gone for it. So there's definitely room to still launch these things, because rather than take a leap of faith, now I know what people are going to say, well, you could always subscribe to the first one and then cancel. You could. But there's something very convenient about being in a supermarket and be like, oh, look, there's that, and picking it up and grabbing it. And again, it's a different market. I mean, those of you that are watching this are clearly park enthusiasts for the most part. So you're watching this, you know what's coming, you know to subscribe and blah, blah, blah. I said, but the average Joe, which is what they need for a business to work, isn't going to do that. They're going to be walking through a supermarket and they're going to see Optimus Prime and think, oh shit, they never knew that was available. Now all of a sudden they're going to grab it, they're going to build it, and they might subscribe to it. So I think there's definitely grounds to at least release the first, 3 or 4 parts of the newsagent and then switch it to a subscription model. But it would make sense to me if people get their hands on it, because again, I wasn't sold on Optimus Prime until I had my hands on it, and I'm thinking, I really want one. And I do want one. And a lot of people ask me, are you building it? No, not yet would be my answer. Not yet. I'm not building it yet. Definitely not saying no on it. I'm not building it yet because I do like it and I really would like a full size one. But I have to be practical with budget and things like that, and also what else is coming out. So I know exactly what I'm building at the moment. I know what's ending and I know what I'm replacing it with. So as it stands at the moment, I am pretty much at capacity with models that I want to build. Ecto 1 is coming to an end. So Ecto 1, I've got the last parts of Ecto 1. I just can't bring myself to finish it, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I've got the last parts of Ecto 1. Once that ends, I've got a gap in my model budget. That gap is going to be filled by the Lancaster Bomber. That's what's going in there, and I'm expecting the Lancaster Bomber to launch at Christmas. December, that's what I'm expecting to see the Lancaster Bomber. So that goes into that gap. Because I have to be sensible with money, I just do. I don't get paid to do these, so no one's sending me these models. Everything you see on the channel, I pay for unless I say otherwise. So when it's a review of one of the sets that have been sent through to us, I will tell you that this has been sent to us. But the Disney Doll's House, the Titanic, the Tumbler, the Gauntlet, Ecto, I pay for those. That's me. No one's sending me these things. No one's giving me these things. I'm not an influencer to get you to buy them. That's not what it is. So I have to be realistic with what I can and can't buy. Now I would love to go, I'll have that one, that one, that one, that one, and bring them all. I really would, but I can't. I can't. I have to be realistic with what I can and can't do. So that's a short answer long, if you will. I really want to. So it's one of those ones where it is the top of my reserve list. So I have a list of ones that I would like to do that I just haven't got round to doing. It's a very short list. I can tell you what's on it. Optimus Prime is now on there. That's the fan home Optimus Prime. He is on there. The Aston Martin from Die Another Day is Die Another Day, No Time to Die. That's on there. It's not an immediate for me, that one. It's Agora, which leads me to believe it'll be around for a while, so I'm not sprinting to get it. And the only other one on that list is the DeLorean. I would like to build the DeLorean. I didn't build the DeLorean. I would like to. That's it. So that's all that's on my shortlist at the moment. But with, and naturally the Lancaster Bomber, but with everything that's being trialled at the moment, I keep seeing things and think, I want that, and I want that, and I want that, and I want that. So I have to be realistic. Now, I know what I've got finishing and when, so I know the Doll's House is finished in May, but it isn't finished in May for me because I'm going to keep going with the extension. So my Doll's House doesn't finish for a long time, but my Infinity Gauntlet finishes in September next year. The Titanic finishes in September/October of next year. Tumblr will finish in, not next year, the year after, in May. So there's lots of bits and pieces that will finish. So I'm not, I insert in, and that's the way it is. If circumstances change and I can build more, I'll build more. But I have to be realistic, and I urge you to do the same as well, because space is part of this. Making sure you've got space to display one of these. Do you want it? Is another one as well. Let the honeymoon period settle down and watch people like myself and other people building and think, I quite like that. Then get on it. So these are all factors you've got to take into account. But no, I would very much like to build it, but I have to be realistic. I just do. Excuse me, it's that fresh Scottish air. But yeah, I'd love to, but I just haven't. Another new model that's come up. You may have seen me building the book nooks on the channel from Row Life. And the last one they released didn't really blow me away. It was a garden room. And the reason why I didn't like it is because Row Life make little rooms, always have done. I like the little rooms, but it seems that all they did with their latest book nook was take a little room and make it narrower and put it into a book nook. And I just thought, that's a shame. When the ones that they'd done up to that point were all very different, very unique, and very detailed, and I really like that. And it looked like they just take this room, narrow it down, call it a book nook, and it felt that way. Well, I'm sad to say that their latest book nook looks like they've done the same again, and it's the bookshop book nook, which I suppose is makes sense for a book theme, but this is it. This is their latest one. So that's that. I mean, it's perfectly nice. I mean, as book notes go, it's lovely. It's going to cost around about £40 sterling. In USD, it's probably going to be about £49.99. In euro, it's going to be about €46. But always keep your eye on Amazon, because they constantly are offering these things at a reduced price. I will get it because I want to finish the kind of set of Row Life book nooks, and there is 4 coming out this year, so there will be a 4th one coming out. I have to get the garden one. I will get that one because I might be pleasantly surprised, but the disappointing thing for me is I need more from these. I need them to be a bit more creative. I need them to be, I don't, if I want a Row Life room, I'll buy a Row Life room. That's the way it is. I don't want you to just take Row Life rooms and shrink them down and put them in a narrow box. That's not what I want. I want something unique in a book nook, and I have got a book nook coming up. All of you broke my code. So I gave a really lame code, but all of you broke my code. Okay. Okay. I have got 2 exclusives coming up on the channel, which have been sent to me by different companies. I can't tell you anything about those at the moment, but they are coming soon. So the one which I think is going to be stunning, I haven't built it yet, will be on the channel probably the end of next week, but the end of September, put it that way. As soon as they say it can go up, it'll go up. But it's beautiful. And then I've got another one which I don't think is going to be till October, which is different. It's wildly different to anything I've built before. It's interesting to say the least. But I like it. I really like it. It's something I thought, I don't think I'm going to love this, but I kind of do. It's really nice. I was gonna give you another clue, but my clue was so lame the last time, right? I think if I was to do that, it just, yeah. So I can't. I'm like, yeah, no, my clue absolutely sucked. Do you want a clue? I'm gonna give you a clue. I'm gonna give you a clue. Figure that one out. Bet you can. Bet you can. But that's what one of them is. I won't tell you which one, but that's what one of them is. It's nice. What have we been watching? 28 Days Later. So me and the kid watched 28 Days Later. If you've never seen 28 Days Later, it's old as hell now, right? So 28 Days Later came out in 2004, which shows how long ago that was, 19 years ago. We watched 28 Weeks Later first, which is a sequel. If you've never seen it, it's not a zombie movie. It wrongly gets titled a zombie movie all the time, but it's not. They have a virus, so it's similar to a zombie movie, but there are no zombies in it. It's just people that are infected. That's what it is. So if you shoot them, they die. They're not zombies. You don't shoot them in the head. But we really liked it. We really enjoyed it. It's been a long time since I'd seen them, and I forgot how good they were, and they are really good. And the funny thing for me is this is the first time I've watched these movies since the pandemic. So I remember the impact of seeing an empty London when we first saw 28 Days Later, and seeing just no one in London. So if you've never seen it, a guy wakes up in a hospital. I think Walking Dead borrowed quite heavily from this. A guy wakes up in a hospital, or vice versa. A guy wakes up in a hospital bed 28 days after this infection has hit. So the first 28 days you don't see. You see day one, where a chimpanzees are being experimented on and released, and this virus spreads, and then you skip forward 28 days, and the guy wakes up and he's been in a coma. He was hit by he was a bicycle carrier, he was hit by a car. He's been asleep for 28 days. When he wakes up, everyone's gone. But he walks through London. So it's Cillian Murphy, who was in the Batman Nolan trilogy. He's walking through London. It's just deserted, and it looks creepy. It looks eerie. It looks so strange seeing an empty London. When we first saw it, now since having lockdown and pandemic, you're like, I've lived this, man. You see these empty streets. You're like, yeah, no, I lived that. So this isn't that unusual now. So the impact's kind of gone. But we really enjoyed watching them again. And there's been a thing for the longest time. When is 28 months later going to get released? And 28 months later is in development hell. It needs a bunch of people that don't really talk to each other anymore to talk to each other for 28 months later to happen. Now, I hope it does, because 28 months later was released 2 years from now, in 2025. We'd be so close to being able to do 28 years later, legitimately 28 years after the last one had been. So 2032 would be when 28 years later needed to be released. You could do it. So you could have 28 days later, 28 weeks later, 28 months later, 28 years later. You could do it. There's enough time to do it. Similar to what happened with Jeepers Creepers. So in Jeepers Creepers, I think it was every 23 years he hunts and feeds and whatnot, or 26 years. We're like a year away from that being the reality. So you could do that movie where it legitimately is that timescale. So I hope they do, because we really enjoyed it. We really, really enjoyed it. But that's all we've been watching so far. Now, because I'm in a hotel room, I'm going to absolutely binge some box sets this evening. So if you know of a decent box set, I'll be here for like 2 nights. If you know a decent box set, bang in the comments below, and I'll watch the hell out of it, because I've got nothing else to do here. Should have brought the book nook with me. That's what I should have done. I've got a desk here looking at it thinking I should have brought the goddamn book nook. But it is what it is. I wouldn't have got it back. That's the problem. that is about all from me. I am so sorry that we are so far behind with all of the models. So we didn't get to do anything we wanted to do because work has been absolute bedlam, which is why, with very short notice, I find myself sat in a hotel room in Glasgow. So unfortunately, it's been absolutely nuts. So I do have the Gauntlet coming. I do have Disney Doll's House coming. Probably by next weekend I'll have Titanic as well. I have got a book nook, and I have got some other builds as well coming up on the channel, which you are going to like. I will get them done. So hopefully, now I've done this for work, there's some Scott time coming over the next few days. So once I get back on Friday. I would like to say all weekend I'm doing it, but that's not happening because Friday night I've got to take Jack for his final training session before his second match. So his second public match. He's had lots of matches, but his second public match is taking place on Saturday. We will film it, we will upload it to the channel, and you'll be able to see the second match in handsome Jack Heartthrobb's fledgling career as a professional wrestler. He's really looking forward to it. He's facing the high-flying superstar. He's kind of like Britain's Jeff Hardy, Levi Cooper, the shooting star. So it's going to be interesting. Jack plans on whipping his ass. So tune in for that. He's quite vicious. That's all from me. If you have any questions or anything, please send them through to us at Building the Boys. I've got nothing else to do, so I'll definitely respond. You can send buildingtheboys@outlook.com. We will get back to you. That is all from me. If you haven't yet, please remember to like and subscribe. It helps the channel massively, and we really appreciate your help. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. And I will see you, hopefully, when I'm back home again for more builds, more fun, more shenanigans from Building the Boys. Take care, and I will see you then.